Welcome, brothers. Welcome, sisters. We on Studio Galaxy 473 in Confer. We back with you again. And always remember, this program is could be pretty interactive if you call. Our number to call is 536-2558. We are the Galaxy Equalizers, and we provoke discussion. That's what we do. We provoke discussion. The topic today is the blame game is stunting our growth and development. We verily believe that our black people in CARICOM countries are too preoccupied with the blame game. And that blame game is stunting their growth and development. Every forum, every corner you go, as soon as individuals start to speak, they start to blame people for the lack of progress. They blame people for the low productivity. We have to stop the blame game. We cannot right the wrongs of history. Every nation has suffered in history. A number of empire has failed. If you are too preoccupied with the blame game, it stunts your growth. You must know your history. The purpose of knowing your history is that you are not able to make the mistakes of the past. You don't want to make the mistakes of the past. But you must not be stuck in the blame game. Today we say CARICOM, and sometimes you might hear me say CARICOM, Caribbean countries. I'm a strong supporter of CARICOM, and I believe we must do everything within our power to strengthen CARICOM. CARICOM has not performed as we want it to. Nothing is wrong with that. Strengthen it, build on it. And we must also change the mentality and the culture of our people, because we are stuck in the blame game. We blame slavery. Well, this one is the biggest one. Every black man in the Caribbean and in CARICOM countries, and I more want to put emphasis on CARICOM countries. And in Grenada, as soon as you start to speak, they start blaming slavery for all what happened in the past. Blaming the white man. Young people going to school and at home practically developing a culture of dislike or hate or antagonism against the white man for slavery. The black man was selling slaves for over 700 years before the white man gone by. Slavery practically was synonymous with Africa. Even today, in Africa, people are living in slavery-like conditions. In Afghanistan, because of the religious belief, they treat some of their own people like slaves. Women do not have as much right as others. England was once dominated by Rome. So all through history, man has dominated man. You cannot get stuck in the blame game. I don't care about reparation. As far as I'm concerned, the white man owe you nothing. That was a part and time in history. Move on. You must know your history so you're not doomed to make the mistakes again. You must know your history so you must avoid being enslaved. It seems that some of us walking for economic slavery. We're living above our means. We are not investing. We don't have a culture seeking economic power. We are squandering our energy, our effort on our resources, and then we jump blaming people. I hope and pray that we in the Caribbean would stop living in a constant state of blaming people. It doesn't help us. We have the University of the West Indies. And the University of the West Indies is supposed to be our premier think tank to answer the call of the dreams and aspirations of our people, to help to propel our people. They too get enveloped in the blame game. Some countries in the Caribbean have all what it takes to develop. What is it you want? You have an opportunity to invest seriously in education and to change the culture of our people, the mentality, the attitude. Some of the European countries that once enslaved you, they're in economic trouble. So we need to discontinue the culture, the mentality, the practice of this constant blame game. Blaming the Europeans, the white man, for enslaving you. Some white people was in slavery too. You cannot right the wrongs of history. You must know history so you are not doomed to make the mistakes of the past. While you're doing that, you must be cognizant of the fact that you need to avoid economic slavery. Because if you bury yourself in debt that was not used for development, debt that was not used for developing your people, but only to satisfy your wants, then you could end up in the jaws of economic slavery. Sometimes when I speak to my fellow men or boys on the block, my brothers and sisters, they blaming the parents. Sometimes you can't believe why my parents didn't buy this portion of land. My parents didn't do justice to me. Because of the action of my parents, I'm living in poverty. They are better educated than the parents. They live in an environment that is more conducive. There are more opportunities in the environment today than when the parents existed. A lot of our foreparents, basically, their source of employment was from agriculture and fishing. Most of the energy they expend was just to live. They didn't even have the technology. They didn't have the knowledge. Some of our grandparents who had the knowledge, they invested in their children. They wanted to control the factors of production. They had labor. They had capital. They sent their children to the best universities that their money could have buy at that time to get initiative so they could come back. Some of the children never did. And some of those who returned, they squander that energy. They squander the energy that the parents had in educating them. They did not come back and join to control the factors of production. The blame game doesn't stop. Sometimes it seems so ridiculous. People say, well, look at the price of land decades ago. Why my parents didn't buy land? The parents was fighting to eke out a living. you in a better position now. In most of the Caribbean countries, they have made quite a lot of improvement. In Grenada, electricity, telephone, water, and internet is second to none. It's better than most and is comparable with the best. We have one of the best network of roads in the country. And thousands of our people have had opportunity for further learning, tertiary education. Yet, we come back and we stuck blaming somebody. We're blaming our parents. Some people complain. Your parents used to beat them too much. Well, yes, at that time, the parents say they believe do not spare the rod and spoil the child. And they took that seriously. So they wanted to beat the bad blood out of you. So you got some lash. Now you might know better. The strategy that your parents used to get you to walk the straight and narrow, whether it was right or wrong, they thought at that time that was the best. You have an opportunity now to pick up that baton and do better and run with it. We have to discontinue the practice of the blame game. People blame the government. And yes, I would agree if you was living in a communist country, Cuba, Russia, China, in Iran, in countries where you don't have the opportunity to choose the government that you have. But throughout the whole Caribbean, we have the opportunity to choose the government that we have. So if the government is not good, or who you blaming? Yourself. Because you had the opportunity to choose the government that you have. Every 5 years, we go to the polls to select a government. And they want to get in power. Some of the individuals that come to you, you have to ask yourself, why should I select this person to show me the way, to lead me, to direct the policies of this country? The individual you select may be a very unproductive individual. The individual cannot manage their own life. You have people 25, 30 years. They cannot make a decision whether they want to live the religious life, the married life, or the single life. Some people promote there is basically 3 grouping you could get in the married life, the religious life, or the single life. They can't even make up their mind on that. I met a guy speaking to him. He and his spouse are together for 22 years. They're together. And they have 4 children. And I said, well, you and this woman together for a very long time. You don't make up your mind on this woman yet. You tell me you're watching her still. I said, 22 years you with her. And you have, I think, 3 children. Are you planning to leave her or replace her? He said, no, I'm going to replace her. I said, well, why don't you get married with a woman? He said, I'm watching her still. I see she do something the other day, so I'm watching her still. He's afraid to make the ultimate decision to marry the woman that he's living with 22 years and have about 3 children. And he's not against marriage. He said marriage is a good thing. One individual tell me, if he walking, don't fix it. He said the relationship I have with my woman real good. So if you walk in, don't fix it. A hesitancy. And it's about everything in life. When we don't get opportunity to blame, we use an excuse. Some people believe what you have in the country is not good. This is like a malady, you know. They always believe what is outside of the country is better than what inside. So your fruits don't good. Your animals, they want a better breed. You have products in Grenada and in the Caribbean that participate in international competition and win gold. But still people looking for it. Some people looking for greener pastures. I constantly ask them, what is it you want? They leave the Caribbean. They leave countries in CARICOM. And they go to the coldest part in Canada and United States of America. And they're working hard. They're looking for greener pastures. I said to my friend, this thing looks as a colder pasture. He sent me some pictures where he was shoveling ice around his vehicle. I said, well, this pasture don't look green. This pasture looks as if it's ice that's in it. And it seems that this malady, this cancer of blame, is more prevalent among black people. Always blaming people for their actions or their inactions, the fact that they are not succeeding. So we blame the government. We selected the government. In the democratic countries, we generally have a free market and a free press. So even when we select the government, we could chastise them. The people who support the government, they want to accept all what they do, lob, stock, and barrel. Then how are you going to guide them? Man is not a perfect being. And it's easy for man to fall to temptation. Money, power, women. Man falls into temptation. And to keep man walking the straight and narrow, you have to guide him. And the press, a free press, gives you an opportunity to critique those you disagree with. And our leaders supposed to pay attention to the criticism in the country and examine it for what it is worth. Wise leaders sometimes forget the messenger and pay attention to the message. Is there justification in what the messenger is saying? And how can I pay heed to this message and improve my performance and my lifestyle? We could do better. CARICOM could do better. We could improve by leaps and bounds if we start recognizing that we are the ones to make the difference and solve and address the challenges that we have. I have advanced the view that every ministry of government should have a think tank. Every political party should choose a rank and file. Individuals from the rank and file of the party to be a think tank for the party, to make suggestions, to give advice, to study the party's good, the bad, and the ugly. Because there will always be good, the bad, and the ugly. And to make those recommendations. every party should have a think tank. So even when the opposition in your party makes statements, accusations, or rumors, or speculation, your think tank examine it and take it for what it is worth. The University of the West Indies should be able to do that. We're in a unique position in the Caribbean. Irrespective of the good climatic condition that we have, and we have good climatic condition, our principal challenge is the hurricane season. And one or two countries have a threat by volcano. St. Vincent and the Grenadines have a more active volcano. In Grenada and other countries, it is really relatively dormant. So, CARICOM countries should establish a committee or task force, or whatever name these highly literate people would use, to address the issue of hurricane. The greatest impact that comes from the hurricane is the destruction of homes and structures and buildings. Greatest impact. It brings out a lot of emotion. And sometimes when we become too emotional, we almost come like beggars. We somewhat loses our sense of dignity. And then we should have a state of preparedness. Because not the first time, not the third time, not the fifth time that we are having hurricanes in different countries. So we should be better prepared for hurricanes. And the hurricane seems to be targeting our homes, our roofs. And obviously, they just take the roof and go. Sometimes the hurricane remove the roof, and if you could have literally do it, you just pick up the roof and put back on your house. So it means the structure is poor. So CARICOM countries and every individual country should take action too. Where you call in our architects or builders and the University of the West Indies, and I would always say the University of the West Indies because this ought to be our premier think tanks, to design structures that can generally withstand the type of hurricanes we have. And since the majority of your people is poor, they should design structures that cost about 40,000 EC dollars. A low-income house should not cost more than 40,000 EC dollars. A 16 by 16 with a bathroom and toilet, maybe 2 rooms, could house a family. In yesteryear, a structure like that might have 13 to 15 members of our family. In today's dispensation, the size of the family has significantly reduced. So they should be able to design a structure that do not cost more than $40,000 that can withstand hurricane force winds. And I believe, yes, it could be done. I've observed the Janet houses that came after 1955 Janet hurricane. That is why they call them Janet houses. They came after the hurricane. There is several in the country. And when hurricane comes, the hurricanes that pass post-Janet have not destroyed these houses. So it means it have to be something about a structure, how they are built. 1 or 2 of them is in the original spots. Some have been moved several times. Yet, they're able to withstand the destructive wind. We are supposed to build our houses properly. Every time a hurricane pass, over 50% of the houses are destroyed. This is unacceptable. This is unacceptable. Where are our brightest sons and daughters? Where are our architects, our engineers, our builders? Where are the University of the West Indies? What happened to the Minister of Housing? We have to deal with that. So, structures are some of the biggest challenge we have. You have government structures falling up. It was badly built. And I'm not talking about old structures. You have some old derelict structures that people complaining that should be removed. And the hurricanes are passing and not a piece of galvanized falling from these structures. You have them in all over the island. In every town, in every community, you have those structures. There's, even if they're in a derelict state, they are able to withstand the hurricanes. And structures younger than them have crumbled. One of the serious losses that we have again is agriculture. And Grenada has made serious losses as a result of the hurricanes. We realize Grenada export cocoa and nutmeg. The cocoa has stood up very well against the hurricane. The cocoa trees are hardy and flexible, and they can take a lot of strong wind without breaking. The nutmeg has not been so fortunate and lucky. What have we done? And every time I speak, I go back to the University of the West Indies. Millions of dollars we get from nutmeg. Hundreds of millions of dollars over the years the nutmeg industry has provided for the economy of Grenada. What have we done? A nutmeg tree may take 8-10 years to reach full maturity. So that's a serious loss. It's not like a banana tree. You could ignore that. The hurricane threw down the banana. In 6 to 9 months, you have back the banana field. As I said, cocoa is generally show quite a lot of resistance. And maybe just about 15 to 20% of your cocoa field may be seriously destroyed. The nutmeg. Our nutmeg trees are taller than they should be. The root system in nutmeg is not like mango. It's not like imotel. It's not like cocoa. It tends to be a shorter, more fibrous root system that does not go down too deeply embedded in the soil. So obviously, the trees are too tall. The nutmeg tree is 30, 40, 50 feet in the air. It's too tall. And because farmers have a husbandry habit of planting the trees and then claiming when they declare, after 3 to 5 years, they're going to cut down the males. But when they declare the farmer, they're cutting the female. Under some nutmeg trees, it's dark. If rain is coming, you're in trouble to see the nutmeg. So when the hurricane strikes, the tumbling effect takes place. Nutmeg trees fall on nutmeg trees. Now, shouldn't our Ministry of Agriculture and the farmers who have this experience plant nutmeg maybe 50, 60 feet apart and give the tree the chance to open out so it will not grow as tall as it is growing now. And it may be able to withstand the hurricane more. Because we observe a lot of nutmeg tree breaking. The hurricane break out the top that's too tall. Why don't we learn? Why? We have what it takes. We have a number of people that have been to university. We have farmers that are in the field for decades. We have the elder farmers and knowledge supposed to pass down. Why we continue to behave like a recurring decimal, making the same mistakes again? And then when we are confronted, we pick up, we sword, and we start to blame people. We have our schools and institutions throughout the Caribbean. There's a lot of schools and institutions with modern-day teachers, very, very intelligent, master's degree, PhD, bachelor's degree. Some of them have traversed the world. Shouldn't our schools and institutions prepare our people for the job market and prepare them for the jobs that are available and encourage them to think? You don't have to fight the desert. If you're in the desert, don't expect water in the top. You might have to go to the cactus tree or the mauba tree. Or you might have to follow the animals to see where they're getting water, because they themselves have to get water. So when you come out from school, you're supposed to be a thinker, somebody that is equipped to solve problems. And as you get higher learning, you must come back to your country and create employment. You don't have to come back and beg for employment. It means you're a poorly certificated. You lack the ability to practicalize your certification. You have a master's degree. You're begging for employment. You're supposed to make jobs. You come up with new initiative to help to employ people. But I think we're stuck. We're stuck in the blame game. We want to blame the Americans. We're blaming British, our own colonial masters. So perhaps some of the most fiery politicians is those who speaking about colonialism and neo-colonialism and white people and racism. And we are attracted to these fools. If they are good politicians, they must have ideas how to solve problems, how to address the problem that we have. We have a good environment. We don't have winter here. We only have the hurricane season, which is seasonal. So we're supposed to solve problems. In Grenada, we are well poised for takeoff. I pointed out before about the infrastructure and the fact that we live perhaps 30 minutes walk away from the sea. We speak a lot about blue economy. All it means to me is how could we benefit from the ocean and the seashore and the sea and the seashore without damaging the environment? That's what it means to me. Why is it we get stuck in a blame game? And it seems that our schools and our educational institutions are encouraging us to stick in the blame game. They practically training us to sit down and wait for people to solve our problems. We look for consultants, and the consultants come, and then you realize the consultant doing research. The consultant sometimes the consultant come and ask you, and then you see your own ideas is what they write for the consultancy. And we continue to repeat it. We continue to make the same mistakes. Why? If you inviting people to come here to identify your problems or to solve your problems for you, they will make problems for you. You must be able to identify what are the challenges that we have, what are the challenges we need to address for our development, and then you search for assistance to solve that challenge. So you know if it is a question of financing, then we look for financing for that. If it is a question of technical assistance, then we look for it. But if you bring the consultant here to come to identify what your problem is, he's going to make problem for you, he or she. We need to seriously sit down and recognize that we are the ones responsible to address the challenges we have. We have to seek our own interests. If we run to the Chinese come in and seek their interests in the country. The Chinese don't care if you kill one another. They don't interfere in your festivals. They don't interfere in your joys. They don't interfere with your sorrow, in your sorrows. And they come with a 1,000-year plan. They seek their interests. The Chinese could be in your country for 25 years. And they still pretend they can speak English. 25 years in your country, Ching can speak English. He is not here to seek your interests. When will we wake up? We have some people in the CARICOM waiting for Africa. You'll wait for the next 1,000 years. You will have to wait for the next 1,000 years. Africa is not one country. Every time you speak as if Africa is one country. Africa is not one country. Africa is 54 or 55 countries, depends on who you ask. And before the decade up, it might be 67 countries. It might be 57 countries. They might add 2 more. The African man have been involved in slavery since OEOO, selling their own people. Some people in Africa claim they are black. The Caribbean, some of our Caribbean leaders, they seem to be waiting on Africa to do what? The CARICOM countries in a unique position. You have access to one of the greatest markets in the world. In Grenada here, we can export cocoa, nutmeg, fish, and soursop. Cocoa, nutmeg, fish, and soursop. We don't have enough quantities for the market. We don't have enough quantities. So obviously, we need to increase our production and our productivity. Soursop in particular, the most recent crop, Grenada alone in the region can export fresh soursop to the U.S. market. And we cannot satisfy the market. Soursop is a crop that take 18 months to 3 years to come into production. So I will always use 3 years because our farmers are not generally doing a good job farming. So I add 3 years. We have hundreds of acres of land that is neglected. Nobody working this land. Bamboo, balije, and wakano. Why don't we plant soursop on it? Why don't we increase our production of soursop by maybe 50 acres? We know that a decade now, but we're not doing that. There are a number of other crops that we can develop that there is market for. We use honey as a medicine, not as a sugar, as a medicine. And even as a medicine, we cannot supply the market. If we increase the market by 1,000% over the next 3 years, 5 years, we still cannot satisfy the market in CARICOM. In addition to that, the United States is right there. Europe is right there. And when you're dealing with beekeeping, you have a number of other products from bees that you can supply the market with. Propolis, pollen, royal jelly, even selling nukes for people who are interested. In Guyana and Trinidad, they have Africanized bees. So if Grenada, Dominica, St. Vincent, St. Lucia have bees to sell, Ghana and Trinidad will prefer to buy their bees than to buy from their own country. That too seems to reach us. Some farmers in Grenada and the rest of the Caribbean used to buy bees from Hawaii Island because most of the other American continent have plenty disease. But we have failed to develop commercial queen rearing in the OECS or in the Windward. And we could do it and get part of the world market. We export crab to Trinidad. We cannot satisfy the market. Mud crab. So that's another market that we could explore. Sea moss. All you see, they're jumping up about the blue economy and the blue economy, the whole Caribbean, jumping up about the blue economy. Sea moss. And it has a very long shelf life. It's another product that we can invest in seriously. St. Lucia doing some, Grenada doing a little thing. We can invest in it seriously. We're not bothered. The flowers industry. We importing flowers from China. We importing flowers, artificial flowers from China. Yet we're speaking about blue economy. When Donald Trump say this environment thing is a hoax, I will agree with him. I don't bother with this environment issue. I say we can make a lot of benefit. We can benefit from the idea. So in that sense, I agree. The flowers industry. We could develop the flowers industry, cut flowers, the tourists, the hotels. We want flowers. We want flowers when you're crying. We want flowers when we're whining. We want flowers when we're getting married. We want flowers when we're at a banker. We want flowers all the time. People want flowers for meeting. And we have an industry here. The farmers here, they're not interested in seriously developing the flower market. But when you speak to them, they're blaming somebody else. I asked a friend of mine the last time, what do you want? She has a nice house. She have 2 vehicles in the yard. She have one, she husband have one. She have 1 child. Fat. You know, some of these people in Grenada with discretionary income, they have 1 child or 1.5. And both parents is at war. So the child become a pawn. And these little children, they learn quick how to play the game between mommy and daddy. So everybody giving the child food and money and snacks, and the child just eating. Normally, they're not very wise, they're not very smart, they're not very athletic. They just sit down playing the game between mommy and daddy and eating. Quite a lot of well-educated men and women end up in that position. They don't know what they want. And by the time you speak to them for 5 minutes, they're blaming one another. The woman blaming the man blaming the woman, they're blaming slavery, they're blaming everything. The blame game stunts individual growth. It stunts development and the growth of the country. And I think the time has come for us to ask ourselves question and solve our problem. You have 2 young people that join up in a relationship. And I like the word join up in a relationship. I advise some young people, you must put both foot in the pond. You like the boy? Yes. You like the girl? Yes. You sure all you like one another? Yes. Put both foot in the pond. And plan for 100 years. Not for 6 months. Not for 5 years. Plan for 100 years. You make a commitment with one another. Some of them start to build houses. Then they break up. The bank have to sell the house. All of them broken. Why you break up and you know you're broken? Stay together. Because they refuse to plan. Both of them stay on the side of the pond and stretching. No. Go inside the pond, both of you. Work together. Develop. Grow the children in the ways of the Lord. Make more. Tell the girl, you like yourself? She say yes. You ask the man, you like yourself? He say yes. Well, if both of you like all yourself, all you want to make more. Make more. We are too preoccupied with blaming other people. We have what it takes to develop. All what we want, we have it. Money is not the problem. We don't have to buy winter clothes. Most of the CARICOM countries, they have social safety net programs. Most of them. Grenada have a very good social safety net program. Grenada have the most land owners in the region. So you already have capital. We have perhaps the most vehicles based upon the population that we have in the Caribbean. We have over 60,000 registered vehicles. We have 100,000 people. So money is not the issue. Our growth and development is stunted because we prefer to blame people. We have communism, left-wing, progressive socialists. When you ask them, Give me 2 good things about that ideology. Only 2. They blaming colonialism and neo-colonialism and slavery and long essay, thesis they're writing just to give you 2 good things about communism and socialism and progressive socialism. Try. You don't have to believe me. Try and ask them to give you 2 good things. We have to prepare to work together. We have to prepare to work together. So we sit down and brainstorm, we come up with solutions, and then we work together. Generally, we are very nice people. We don't hate one another. I see family members cussing one another. You think then one dead, and if you hear them bawl, they bawling. What happened to you, my brother dead? They have not spoken to that brother for years. And if you ask them why you're not speaking to your relative, brother, sister, mother, try it. Next time you meet people who are not speaking to relatives, ask them why you and this relative not on term, and listen to them. They're taking half an hour, they can tell you. So we, as a people, we have to develop the culture of working together. If you want to go anywhere fast, you could go alone. But if you want to go far, you have to go together. This is an old adage that says that. So as a people, we have to prepare to work together. Let me give you a live example, a practical example. You have brothers and sisters, or friends, or relatives that are renting a home. And $1,500 a month for that house. And all of them are working very hard. Some working in the day, some working in the night. So 5 of them could occupy that very structure. And if 5 of them occupying that structure, $300 from each of them could pay the rent. And you see what you're talking about? Instead of one paying 15, 5 of them occupied. And maybe a year or 2 sacrifice. They have enough money to pay down and buy a big building. So they wait till they reach about 30 years or 25 years or 40 years, and then they tell you they buy a house. And later on, by the time they become incapacitated, they were not able to finish pay for the house, so they have to sell the house. We have to prepare to work together. We have to be encouraged as a national policy to encourage people to work together. Parents have to encourage children to work together. Parents have to perhaps set up some initiative where capital is provided for the children to get involved in business. Rather than wait when you're dead for the children to inherit what they want. And later on, the children realize you're not dying because you have 70 years and you're not dying. And the child have 50-something already, the child getting sick, and the parents not dying. So the children now start to contemplate whether they should help you to die. Remember, we have to face some realities. We have to solve the problem. These are the harsh, cold realities that is there. Those on the departure lounge, maybe time passed already on you. So what you could do is to share your experience with them and tell them, you all have to unite. You'll have to work together. You all have to make money work for you. You must not be working for money all your life. You may not have the ability, the skills, the capacity. You might become incapacitated and you no longer could work for money and you don't have. So very early in your life, you must develop the culture of letting money work for you. You must take seriously that you shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket. This have to be a culture for people. It seems among the major races, the black race is coming up one thing. Look at us in the Caribbean here. In Grenada, when you look around and you watch businesses and you go back and do a little history, it seems that one generation make it and the next generation blow it up. You don't even see the second generation involved in some of the business venture of the first generation. We have a shrinking middle class. We have people that believe they're rich and they're poor. I see a number of people in Grenada that giving the impression that they're rich. They don't have discretionary income. They're in trouble, but they don't realize they're in trouble yet because they have a car. You have to ask yourself the question, the vehicle I have, is it a liability? Is it an asset? When I purchased this vehicle, I paid $100,000 for it. I got a loan in the financial institutions or in the bank. 5 years after, how much is vehicle worth? After 5 years, that $100,000 might be valuing about $30-something thousand. How much does it worth? How much money did I make from this vehicle? That vehicle took me to work and I went in party and I went on the beach and I had a good time. And that is very good. But perhaps one had to say, if I invested in my land and the profits or the income from the land purchased the vehicle, then I still have the land producing money. But that $100,000 you spent was not an investment. It bought a luxurious good that you're struggling to maintain. Then how could we have all these intelligent, highly certificated people that lack the practicality, that lack the ability to practicalize their certification? We have to ask these questions. Otherwise, the next generation will enjoy the recurring decimal, the blame game again. My father had 3 cars. And now I'm walking have a cycle. I see some place in Grenada that the lands are sold on the internet. And Grenada is always a good retirement home for foreigners. And before long, quite a lot of the property, the prime property in Grenada, will be purchased by foreigners. The value of land have increased tremendously. A piece of land in St. George's that was $3 or $5 a square foot 15 or 20 years ago now is 10, 15, and 25 US dollars. It's no longer at the reach of the ordinary man. The public officer, the civil servant, they are the new poor on the block. And what is sad, some of them don't know it yet. It's only when they retire, the shock comes that they are the new poor on the block. If you have a major medical health condition and you have to spend $50,000, then it is better that you start to pray and ask God to give you a easy passage to heaven. And you don't have the luxury of having children like yesteryear that the society could put pressure on to take care of you. So you have to go in a home. Sometimes by the time you're 60 years, you have to go in a home. Because all you have is a house and a car. And you have nothing to generate income. And you can't pay a maid. So some kind relative had to drop you in a home. And the next time they see you perhaps is when you're dead. I believe that we have to discontinue the blame game. We have what it takes. We are a very fortunate group of people today. We have to discontinue the blame game and develop ourselves. We have to discontinue blaming people and recognize no one is coming to help us. Those who come, they want something from us. So we have to prepare to abandon the blame game and spend our time and our energies on developing ourselves and our country. We want to thank you very much for sharing this moment with us on Studio Galaxy with the Galaxy Equalizers. Thank you very much.